getting in and around where a kick came down. Him and Liam Harris, had a good combination going again, like they've had a couple of other times earlier this year already. And 8 out of 8 with the boot as well. So the kid's a goal kicker as well. I think you gotta. I don't know. I know you don't want to give him credit, but the way he's playing when he's not, forget the extracurriculars. The way he's actually playing rugby league, totally justifies his spot for me in the England setup. And another good performance by him.
Well, I mean, I presume there were no extracurriculars in this one. I haven't seen anything noted, so if he can cut it out of his game, then I have no problem with him. As long as you can guarantee that he can cut it out of his game. As you say,
what if he winds someone up for the match-winning penalty in Denver? So he winds someone up that gets us a penalty, that wins us the game. Would you take that, or would you be disappointed still?
I don't deal in hypotheticals.
Fair enough. Let's move on then to the stats from this one. 103 more metres and only one more break for Hull FC in this one over Salford. In a game Salford had a 1.2% better team tackle success in, so stats were a bit bonkers. Ill discipline hurt Salford with a 10-4 penalty count going against them. I think they lost their heads a bit in the first half when they were getting battered, and they kept piling the pressure on themselves with giving away penalties. So
I guess it's just weight of possession, isn't it? When you're conceding back-to-back tries type things.
And it does sound like the commitment from Hull dropped off in the second half, like we've spoken about. Okay, individually, Barita Faremo, 3 tries, 1 try assist, 6 tackles, 179 metres, 3 clean breaks. Hakeem Maludi, 1 try and 151 metres. He's a crowd pleaser.
Yes, he is.
Jack Downs, 1 try, 49 tackles, 11 of which mark tackles, so went both ways for Jack. And Chris Green, 147 metres. For the losing Salford Red Devils side, Greg Johnston with a try, 7 tackles, 127 metres. Daryl Alford grabbed his first try, I think, in Super League, but all his hard work getting some good rewards there. 7 tackles, 150 metres as well for him. George Griffin with a try and 102 metres. I think he's going to be one of the players that people are circling around, as will be Junior Sal with 6 tackles and 135 metres. They shouldn't leave Super League, even if Salford were to, I would suggest. Okay, next game on Friday night. Sounds like a cracker. And it finished with the home side Leeds Rhinos losing by 18 points to 25 against the visiting Huddersfield Giants in front of 11,051. The middle section of the standing section of the South Stand opened up for the first time this week. Liam Moore was the referee. We had a couple of views in. Do you want to take us through those?
Yeah, so Rich Wilkinson says, Leeds just aren't good enough right now. Clean-cut chances blown, ball turned over early in the set on Huddersfield's line, defence not tough enough. The players have to give a lot more if they want to avoid the middle 8.
Ooh. Mark W says, really enjoyable game. Leeds weren't too bad on the night, but their passing and handling let them down at key moments. The Giants' goal line defence was outstanding. Young Ollie Russell controlled the game with his kicking, and Alex Mellor might be the best under-the-radar player in the league. 2 essential points in the race for 8th. Alex Mellor's not under the radar for SLP because, we were praising him massively right back in 2014 in our first year. So we're big fans of him on this show. But Ollie Russell has come out of the blue, hasn't he, really, I suppose?
Well, exactly. I've only seen the highlights of this one, so I'm limited in what I can kind of talk about it. But yeah, having somebody to kind of step in at halfback when you're missing somebody, Russell, did a very good job. But yeah, the fact that Mellor and any other business got over the try line, Bradford Old Boys against Leeds, never a bad thing. But yeah, Huddersfield are getting better, and Leeds are middling, aren't they? I mean, they got off to they took the lead early on, didn't they? In terms of early on, when Myler scored, they were ahead. But yeah, they just couldn't hold it out. But yeah, Huddersfield are getting better without question.
They definitely are, and Ollie Russell has shown when he's played that they don't miss Danny Brough, because Ollie Russell has been kicking as well.
Yeah.
Without the mouth. So he hasn't been putting his team under pressure. the big storyline out of this game was probably just before half-time, the serious injury to Mikolaj Alejski. Stevie Ward and him kind of friendly fire head clash. Stevie Ward was able to return to the match and actually put in a pretty solid knock, like he keeps doing for Leeds. He's an absolute hero for them at the moment in a depleted side. But Mikolaj Alejski cleared of serious harm after a visit to the hospital after the game, but doesn't sound like he's in the nicest of health with the head knock he took. So it's really great to hear that things aren't too serious there. But every time they get someone back in that front row, someone else goes down, either because not Alan Mullally, that's the cricketer, innit? Either because Anthony Mullally can't bloody keep his bloody knees out of things, or because someone gets an injury. And they got Mitch Garbutt back, which is huge for them because he's an absolute meter-making machine. But then they lost Mikolaj Alejski, who's such a promising player and really needed to solidify that front row with the state of things for them. And it's kind of like a Groundhog Day experience for them on that. They also lost Myler to a concussion during the second half, and I think Jordan Lilly picked up an injury as well. So they had Sutcliffe back in the backs, but other injuries picked up in the halves. And with Myler off the pitch, it probably just meant their attack came to nothing really. You can't imagine they had much going on. It just would have been like, if we can get an offload away and catch the ball, then we might see something happen, but otherwise we're screwed. And it does sound like their attack stalled in the second half for Leeds. The Cameron Smith try should have never been given. He was a mile off. Well, I say a mile offside. He was a good yard in front of the kicker and stood only a yard away from the kicker. So I'm surprised that one was rolled through, but it didn't affect the end result of the game. So well done to Huddersfield. Really, it sounds like they were the much better team. It sounds like their pack were able to get on top, particularly in the second half, to roll the game home. Do you have anything else to add, or shall we do the stats?
Just to say, it's getting very tight, isn't it? Kind of for that last, for finishing eighth, and kind of it's getting it's going to be competitive in the last 5 rounds, isn't it?
Getting exciting, sure. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later on when we run through the standings, I think, because it is getting tight and exciting, both for the 2nd to 4th and for 7th and 8th, and maybe even 6th is still not quite safe. But that win for Wakefield, I think, probably gets them into the right position for the Super 8s. For the Super League Super 8s. Okay. Next game on Friday, the last non-televised.
Stats.
Oh yeah,
you haven't done stats.
Thank you. Metre stats very close, same average gain and same amount of carries. 2 total metres separated the sides. Huddersfield, though, were much better with the ball based on the stats. They made 9 breaks to 4 by Leeds and only 5 errors to 11 by Leeds. So obviously Leeds couldn't do anything, and when they tried, didn't come off. Individually, Alex Mellor, who we've mentioned, a try assist, 6 tackle busts, 153 metres. Top effort from him. Leroy Cudjoe, 5 tackle busts and 119 metres. Daniel Smith against his former side and against his brother. I didn't know Cameron Smith was his brother, but according to the match reviews I've read, he is. 137 metres and 3 successful offloads for him. Jordan Rankin back in at fullback, 119 metres for him. For the losing Leeds side, there were some strong performances still. Matt Parcell with 1 try and 119 metres. Mitch Garbutt with 152 metres. Stevie Ward, 42 tackles, 141 metres, 3 clean breaks, so he went both ways as well as being concussed. And Ryan Hall, an out of form Ryan Hall, because he's getting no tries, but he's certainly doing everything else right, it seems to me. 6 tackle busts, and 153 metres.
If they're really struggling in the pack, then they know where to look. I mean,
we've been saying this, haven't we? He's got to move that way.
He has done. But yeah, I mean, obviously we didn't really mention him, but obviously Cudjoe coming back into the team, that kind of, it helps to balance Huddersfield out, doesn't it? A player of that quality.
And he's a leader as well, so it's a positive leader on the field. I feel, to have him there. Yeah, I agree. Okay, sorry. The game I was going to talk about before you correctly put me back on the stats was St Helens versus Hull Kingston Rovers. It was 26 points to 4, 18-0 at half time, 9,405 people there. Gareth Fewer was the referee, and apparently it was an eminently forgettable game. But what did St David, who was there, have to say about this?
St David said, so whilst Saints' defence was excellent throughout, it really didn't get going with the ball, with no Lomax or Wilkin. Another superhuman performance from Barber. Still had 2 tries and 1 incorrectly disallowed, which left him shaking his head in amazement. 3 brilliant tries in the second half, the best by Rovers, sandwiched a tedious knock-on-a-thon. 2 points, move on.
Yeah, Junior Vivai's try was great. The ball went from one side of the pitch back to the other. There was a couple of kicks involved, I think. There was a lot of offloads. It was very off the cuff, very improvised, and a little bit of a lucky bounce as well helped him out to get it through and get it down. But well done to him scoring that try. But
yeah, well, like I say, I watched the 5-minute highlights, and it looked like a great game in 5 minutes.
Yeah, because Mark Percival's try as well looked pretty fantastic as well. Where was it? Peyru made the break, threw it inside to Richardson, and Richardson put a kick through for Percival to score. So that looked a cracking try.
That was a great try. Obviously, Barber kind of breaking away,
right on the way,
going the full length at the end and stuff. So the tries themselves were good, but obviously the highlights didn't show the knock-on-a-thon in between. But yeah, as I said, the Hull KR's try was a absolute quality effort. You know, the backers and forwards to do lots of hands and yeah, so. They can do that, but yeah, I mean, it's always going to be tricky going to Saints.
Well, you can't get off to a diabolical start on the road at the league leaders, and they kicked the keeper out on the full, didn't they? And then gave away a try in that very first set. Possibly there was another penalty along the way to that, but they certainly didn't start well, didn't the Hull Kingston Rovers? And kind of then the dreariness obviously set in. I think. The stats kind of maybe pull out one of the things about why it wasn't a totally thrilling and exciting game, because this game had more dummy half carries than any game so far this year with 52, Hull KR with 35 of them, so it wasn't an expansive game, unfortunately, for the guys to watch. We mentioned that Saints didn't play Lomax and Wilkin, I assume rested. There was also Tommy Lee missed out for Hull KR, which was a bit of a surprise, and James Greenwood played in the front row. Now he's played 1 or 2 games in the front row this season, but he's mostly been a back rower since he moved there, and I'm not sure if he's got the size for that front row position these days. So that's interesting. And Matty Marsh, I think, got injured during the game, which meant that probably the way they planned the game to go didn't quite come out of it in the end, but still they were onto a losing effort, as you got to say. Okay. More stats. Shall we do more? Have you got anything else to say?
No, nothing else to say.
Okay. Stats have Hull KR making 1 more break than Saints, but Saints made over 354 more metres, scored 4 more tries and tackled at 4% better team tackle success rate. Individually, Ben Barber, 2 tries, 1 try assist, 9 tackles, 192 metres, 2 clean breaks.
Quiet game for Benny there.
He did get 90 of them metres on one score,
yeah,
didn't he? James Roby with a try, 126 metres, 3 successful offloads, totally ran the show. Looking forward to him to doing the same in Denver. Mark Percival, try assist, 8 tackles, 106 metres. Ryan Morgan, his centre partner, with a try and 118 metres. For the losing Hull KR side, Chris Atkin had 132 metres and 3 successful offloads. Ryan Shaw had 132 metres and 2 clean breaks. And Elliot Wallace on the other wing from Shaw had 111 metres. Okay, moving on to the main event.
Lots of half scoops, I would guess, there.
There must be, mustn't there? Moving on to the main event of Friday night, and it was a very, very exciting game, which finished Warrington 30, Castleford 34. It was locked up at 20 all at half time. There was just 9,198 watching. Ben Thaler was the referee, and we've got a few people getting in touch about this one. Do you want to start us off with Karsten?
Yes, so Karsten says, what a first half. Forward scores with a kick and chase, crossbar challenges back, and 7 tries plus I couldn't hear the ref for the first 5 minutes. The second half was very good too. Milner got 10 for a dog shot, and 2 jokers had with the ref. Hitchcock Charlie was no match, and Callum Turner had a really good game at fullback. Ben Thaler with a really good game. # no ref's fault.
Nope, not in my eyes either. Wire Joe said very entertaining. Well, no, the Wire fans were giving him some during the game, weren't they? But that's what supporters are supposed to do, I think. Everything's forward, everything's lying on.
Yeah.
Wire Joe said very entertaining game for the neutral, I'm sure, but it was a fucking nightmare to watch as a Wire fan. Didn't look ourselves tonight. Flat in the first half and completely gassed in the second. Was a big loss when Brown went off injured, but we hurt ourselves with too many missed tackles and silly penalties. Credit to Cass, the better side took the 2 points back home with them.
They did. So Mike Dodd says, so frustrating to lose a game when you score more tries than the opposition. Yeah. Castleford play acting to buy penalties was embarrassing, and unfortunately fell for it most of the time. One high tackle rule for one team and one for the other.
Well,